everyone, welcome to another episode of Tales from the Vic. That's this guy. I'm Aaron, as always, and yes, this is the video series we're doing all month long for Thorgy Ween, in which we are just taking some of his favorite horror films to talk about.
My picks.
And we are just going through them. And last week, we covered a bad film.
We did.
This week, it is sequels week here on this channel. So in honor of that, we're talking about what is, in all honesty, my favorite horror movie sequel of all time.
You know what? It's really up there. It really is. There's nothing bad about it at all, I think.
When you sent me the list of films that you wanted to talk about, and I saw that one there, I was like, I don't even need to watch that one. I'd watched it again just to be safe, but I got that one pretty much memorized. We were talking about Rec 2. Now, if you haven't seen the first Rec, it was, in all honesty, it's probably the best found footage film.
I would have to say it is probably the best found footage film I think I've seen.
Yeah, honestly. It's Blair Witch gets a lot of points for being original, and also for the campaign they had going into it.
Absolutely, yeah.
But like after Blair Witch and everybody knew what found footage was, it's like, oh, okay, you can't really do that again.
Yeah.
These are the guys who's like, all right, well, let's just do something amazing. Let's just take it and do it as well as possibly can.
Right.
But the first Rec film, it follows a journalist, a reporter, who is taking her cameraman along for a ride with these firefighters, and she goes into this house where an emergency was called, but then they all end up getting locked inside the house, and it's revealed that there are sick people inside, and it's a zombie outbreak film, and you might be saying, sounds like they just ripped off Quarantine. Quarantine is the American remake of Rec.
It's the other way around.
Which, in all fairness, I saw Quarantine first. Quarantine is not bad.
It is not. It follows the movie beat by beat. It's the exact same movie. And honestly, if they had deviated from the path, it probably would have been bad.
Yes.
But honestly, it is
almost shot for shot. Exactly.
It's not a bad remake.
It's like, you know,
I think it gets a little too shitted on.
A lot of people shit on it just simply because, it's just a shot for shot remake. It's like, well, you know what? They did it well. Like, I remember that Psycho shot for shot remake. I was like, no. This one was actually pretty.
Yeah. I gotta give it to Quarantine. They did a pretty good job.
They were pretty faithful to it. But yeah, man, just watch Rec instead. The only real difference is in like the last 2 minutes.
Yeah,
of Rec.
really. That's all it is.
Yeah, the last 2 minutes are slightly different. But the slight differences at the end of that one lead directly into Rec 2. Like, you could not make Quarantine 2 because, they left out those slight differences.
You really couldn't.
They did make a Quarantine 2 and it's awful, but,
yes, they did.
Oh, God. They've actually made, a couple Quarantines, I think.
They?
They at least made a second one where they're set in an airport.
Yeah, that I do know.
That one's awful, but I think I remember seeing at least a third one out there somewhere. Bastards. But, but here is what I love about Rec 2. Is that, first one, it's a zombie outbreak and they're trapped inside this apartment complex with all these people turning into zombies. It's great, you get to know all the characters in there. It's a zombie setting where you can't run, you can't escape. They have to figure out how to escape, but the government's coming in here and they don't know what's happening outside of the apartment complex. Yeah. So, it creates this great mystery. And
exactly, they really don't know. There's hints that it could be a virus. People honestly think it could be some little more a demonic possession, demonic entity. So there's all these really cool ideas being thrown around, but all you know is that they cannot get out of that house. And if they even try, they're gonna get killed.
And they keep creating all these opportunities.
Yeah.
Where it's you can escape if you go. No, it's okay. That's tough. Well, there's this other way over here, and they did a great job of balancing hope, which is what you need to do in a horror film. You need to make people think, okay, well, this is going to work. Yeah. Oh, it didn't work. Oh no. But in the second one, I'm like, well, okay, I hear it's still good, but do I really just want to watch another zombie film? The second one, it starts off with these military soldier guys right in there, and they got a priest with them. Yes. And they go to where the first film ended.
Yes.
And at the end of the first film, there's some big, the origin monster for this, and it's just some big, it's a freaking,
very creepy.
It's some big Bloodborne monster in there. But they also find, all these notes at the, last 2 minutes of the movie. They find, all these notes, and they're like, what could all this mean?
Yes.
And it starts hinting that it is, something demonic. They bring a preacher in there, because they're like, this is not zombies. This is Satan. Except Satan doesn't do I'm gonna possess a little girl and make her head spin around. Satan is a disease that can be passed from person to person.
Yep.
And there's been a guy living in this apartment complex experimenting on his Satan virus. And you might be hearing that going, that sounds stupid. Stupid, awesome.
The fuck?
That's it.
So
That's
cool.
cool. Here's the thing. So many people could screw this up.
Yes.
They do not screw this up.
No.
This is exactly as cool as it should be. This movie takes a concept that I've seen 1,000 times over with zombies and does something completely different with it. And it's honestly the best like version of like exorcism, like possession, like because it's so original.
I feel like if they made this in America, if this came out mid to late 80s,
It would star Dwayne The Rock Johnson and
it would have been directed by John Carpenter. Because it really feels like Prince of Darkness. Like,
oh, it so does.
it feels like Prince of Darkness, where it's like,
but like
Satan
faster,
as a virus.
but like
you know?
faster and more hectic.
Yes.
Yeah.
A
Which-
lot more speed.
Here's the thing. This also, I'm gonna throw this out right now. This is the best video game movie I have ever seen.
Oh man, yes.
And it's not based on any video.
These guys should have made Doom.
Yes,
They
absolutely
should have made Doom.
Because yeah, you're following these soldiers and they've got the cameras on their head.
Yeah.
So you're seeing like their first person point of view with the guns as like they're having to shoot down the demon zombies, and it's like, holy shit, man, this actually gets me pumped like I'm playing Doom.
Yeah.
But there is even like a moment in here in which they get into the secret laboratory up there. And first off, they gotta solve a puzzle. So okay, it's like, all right, video game
Yeah.
there. But there's a moment in which they find these notes on this like second string of like tiny child demon zombies. And they read the
right.
notes on, and then 2 seconds later, they run into it and it's like, that's literally how every Resident Evil game works.
¿Esto qué son sus experimentos? ¿Eh? ¿Qué es esto? Tranquilo, ¿qué pasa? ¿Cómo que pasa? Son niños, jefe. Son niños.
Every Resident Evil game is, I found some notes on a monster, turn the corner, there's that monster. It's like, I know what a liquor is because I saw the like all the notes and everything leading up to it. And I was like, that is exactly how video games work, and no one has been able to make that work in an actual video
brilliant.
game
I love
movie.
it.
And this isn't even a video game movie. It's amazing to me how they were able to pull that off. Like, I want these guys to pair up if they decide to reboot that Resident Evil franchise.
Yes.
Stop giving Paul W.S. Anderson work. He's doing the Monster Hunter movie. I was like,
Looking at you, Paul.
How-
Looking at you.
how did you give a guy with a 0% track record like the biggest video game franchise out there right now? Man, I'm so mad about that.
Yeah.
Anywho, that's a whole other rant.
Yeah, save it for later.
Yes. But yeah, I was looking at this just like, this is exactly how a video game works. And they translated it perfectly into a freaking movie. But the crazy thing is, it like keeps splitting from person to person.
Yeah.
There's 3 acts in this film, and each act follows a different person with a handheld camera in there. And the second act of this film, it then cuts to these kids outside. They're just dumbass kids. They're just, I'm talking so much, I'm about to shoot saliva all over the table. I had to take a stop and moment to swallow. So, it just comes to these dumbass kids, like they're lighting up a blow-up real doll outside, and then they're like, oh, well, I think I know a way in there.
Yeah.
Let's find a way in.
Let's
Okay,
get
yeah,
in.
okay. Because they're
Let's find
dumbass kids.
I want to go in there. Let's find out. And
Yeah.
then you have the one guy that's like, no, we can't go in there. What are you doing? No, I don't know why I'm doing a Spanish accent. Like, you know, well,
I wasn't going to say anything, but okay.
they're like, no, you can't do that. Why are we doing it in there? Why are we going? And you as a viewer are like, yeah, I agree, but it's at the same time like, I want them to go in there.
Yeah, you want this movie to continue.
I want them to
And
be
you've
in
been following
there.
the trained soldiers. What happens when dumbass kids get thrown in
And
this
then
situation?
at one point, the two meet, and it's just like, we got military
And it means
police.
in an amazing way because at the end of Act 1, when like the military guys' batteries are about to die,
Yeah.
the last thing you see is them, like the dumbass kids are like, who the hell are these kids? There's someone
Yes.
that's alive in here.
Yes.
Then bam, their battery dies, cuts to them like an hour ago with their camera.
And the lead up to there, and it's just that's just great editing. That's
yes,
just great editing. It really is.
The
great.
editing is amazing in this
And
film.
then you're thinking this movie doesn't get any better. And then at one point, you know, they're getting all like attacked, and you think they're gonna die. And who shows up but the journalist?
From the first film, who it looked like died at the end of that one. That is one of the best act breaks I have ever seen.
I
in a movie.
love that scene so much. She just shows up and just fucks everything up, and she's like dirty. Her hair is a mess. You can tell like she
It's
has
the difference
been through
between
something.
it's the difference between Alien and Aliens with her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was
She
gonna
went
bring
down
up.
the Ripley.
This movie is essentially like Aliens. It takes the Aliens formula of just like pumping up with some action, but it's still gonna be just as terrifying.
Yeah. Also, and take the person who was running around scared in the first film and make him a badass.
Exactly. But it's I love this movie.
And then after that, she's still got like her camera, but now like everything's in total darkness. So now they need the camera in order to be able to like see where they're going. So it's like, all right, it makes perfect sense why they're still holding this camera. Like the soldiers in there, it's like, yeah, it's all attached to their cameras. Makes perfect sense. Plus, when some of them get turned, you're seeing it from their point of view. It's like, that's awesome. But the dumbass kids, they're dumbass kids. Of course, they're gonna be filming all this stuff. There's actually a reason why she has to be carrying this thing.
I love her.
But then, yeah, I swear to God, anybody who doesn't want to like know anything else,
seriously,
I can't imagine like, I can't imagine.
I don't want to spoil it. I don't.
Okay, you're all out. Good. All right. At the end of this thing, it's revealed the reason why she's such a badass and the reason she survived. She didn't survive. She got possessed. She's actually like on the bad guys team now.
Yeah, she's like Super Saiyan, like a Super Saiyan spawn or whatever. Yeah, like it goes back. Like there's it kind of like rewinds, and then you see her getting attacked by the Bloodborne monster looking thing, and he just like slides on top of her and just like gurgitates this disgusting like black slug into her, and immediately she's possessed.
I just realized that's the second film I've watched for Thor Halloween this year that involves someone puking up a giant slug monster.
Hey, I mean,
we watched Poltergeist 2 earlier this week.
Oh man, I totally forgot that happens.
Yeah. That is a movie that didn't know what it wanted to be.
No.
We already talked about that one earlier this week. Man, yeah, this film, though, it has such great twists, such good characters, even when you don't get to know them that long.
No, absolutely.
And it's so goddamn original. It takes a thing we have seen 1,000 times before and just amps up the action, makes it incredibly cool, and makes it something you have never seen before.
Yes.
It's a shame what happens in the third Wreck film. You can stop here at this movie.
I mean, I just love the fact it's two Spaniards. Like, there's something about like Spanish horror that they're willing to go. They're willing to go full on, like dive deep into the deep end and just like give you violence and just action and a great story and everything. I love it. So I'm just watching this movie, and you know they give you subtitles, but you know if you're Hispanic, you could just follow along. So the whole movie, I'm just like listening and watching. I'm just like, oh my god, they're gonna get killed. They're gonna get killed. And I'm just like, it has a really great energy to it, like with all the characters and everything that's happening. It has a really nice pace, and you really like the characters, like the banter between the cops. And just like how every character is introduced, it's just so cool when those kids show up, when the journalist there, your heroine shows up. It's just so good. If you guys have never seen Wreck 2, you're doing yourself a disservice. Definitely one of the best POV horror films in the library, like going way over like it's up there with Blair Witch and a few of the others, but like I think it sets the standard.
This I would absolutely agree, because as I said, like Blair Witch, you gotta give it points for what it did for the advertising campaign.
Not taking it away.
By the way, speaking of Blair Witch, there is a horror film out there called The Last Broadcast. Have you ever seen it?
I have heard of it.
The Last Broadcast is one of the most. I always bring this up when I talk about Blair Witch. It's one of the most heartbreaking horror films I've ever seen, because Blair Witch exploded, created like this cultural like zeitgeist, like a new format of doing horror films. The Last Broadcast came out a year before that, and it is so close to being exactly what the Blair Witch is, but they fuck it all up in the last like 5 minutes of the movie. And I'm just like, if you had just like made that extra yard, you would have scored that touchdown. If you had just stuck the landing on this one, you would be the one that everyone's talking about. But nope, screw the whole thing up there, man.
Shame.
Yeah, at the end of that film is so tragic, and you just look at it, it's like, you almost had it. You keep thinking about like the guy who made that film. Just as people like watching the Blair Witch, like, I was so close. I could have been on the cover of People magazine. I could have been like this. No, but that's a whole other thing to go into. But yeah, this film, it really is just so original, so unique, so jam-packed with both action and terror. Like,
yeah, it's legitimately scary.
It's hard to capture both those, because when your adrenaline is racing for action, you typically don't get like that moment for like chills to come up to you. But it's like, nah, this is a movie in which like it will set up a scare because you see someone at the end of a hall, and then it comes running at you. Like, they don't need to like take any more time than that to set up a scare.
No, not at all. I mean, it's perfect. Like, I remember the first time I saw this, I caught it on like HDNet Movies. Like, it was a really good channel where like they premiere movies that were going like in theaters and on demand. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch this. had the lights out. I'm like, oh man, this is a little too much. This is a little
Yeah.
too much. It is really good at getting you scared.
It is great.
really, really good.
Watching
at
this in
doing
the
that
dark
job.
is fantastic because it creates this sense of claustrophobia, but
Yes.
also it's that sense of like they're just in an apartment building, man. If you live in an
Yeah.
apartment building,
You got nowhere to go.
like
There's
you
only so
rarely-
much space for you to run.
Yeah, like imagine if you were in an apartment and you just couldn't get out. Like that's it. Like this is your maze. This is your labyrinth that you're
Yeah.
trapped inside of. Like I've always said that the woods freak me out because I grew up living in the woods. So
Right.
any horror film that you say in the woods, like it instantly gets some bonus points for me. This is the first time that someone made an apartment complex feel like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, huge recommendation for this film.
Please, you guys
absolutely
gotta
loved
watch
it.
Gotta watch it.
All right, we got 2 more episodes of Tales from the Vic. So make sure that you come back for the next episode.
Please do.
Bye, everyone.